Hello everybody, welcome to Nunu Wako show. Today's guest is born to an Ethiopian father and an African American mother. Here in Washington, D.C., the melting pot of the United States. Ross Nebiyu is a rising star with a commanding talent and music that transcends continents. Nebiyu, welcome to Nunu Wako show.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm excited. I've kind of followed you for roughly a year, and not just you, but your music and your message, because it's very important that every guest that I present is a positive individual. And I felt very, very empowered by your music. Okay. So tell me a little bit about you, your upbringing, and your music.
Well, I was born here in D.C. at Howard University Hospital. Like you said, my dad's Ethiopian, my mom's African American. We grew up, both my parents are very, I guess, like socially conscious, and just on their separate sides, they were always growing up with just certain kind of understandings and beliefs about the world. Yeah. So when they came together and they had, I guess, me and my sisters, that just kind of all blended up, and that's how we just that's how we grew up at home.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, tell me what your house was like in terms of having an Ethiopian father and that culture, and then having a mother that is consciously connected to the continent. How was that?
Well, back then, I wasn't really thinking about it like that, because it's just like, what I'm saying, I'm a kid, that's just how I'm living, so it's pretty normal to me, like, it's just learning to speak 2 languages early, things like that, just making sure, like, when I was going to school, I was still, making, like, the house was making sure my culture was intact, what I'm saying? Like, I remember times where, like, I had my uncles wouldn't even speak to me in English. Like, I had to speak in Amharic or everybody would ignore me. So while I was going to school, that's what kept me, like, sharp as far as Amharic goes, and just things like that,
And being an American of Ethiopian father and an African American mother, most Ethiopians back home, they're so curious about African Americans. What can you tell us that you think we Ethiopians either misunderstand or have a misconception about?
Wow. What can I say? Wow.
Nothing?
Nah, it's so much. Like, it's almost like a separate entity.
What is it that you hear often then?
Well, just in general, everybody just lives off stereotype. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people just say, just without knowing, just not even intentionally, just out of stereotype, they'll just say things.
Yeah. What things do they say? Because my aim is to make sure that we don't actually believe those stereotypes, because I feel like Ethiopians, when they come to the United States, they have those stereotypes that is projected to the world.
I guess I'm not even going to say just Ethiopia, but anywhere outside of America, like, when you ask anybody's perception about a Black American, it's directly what they see on TV. You know what I'm saying? What's being sent, what's being shown. So a lot of times, what's being put, a lot of things that people are being seen on TV as Black people, but a lot of times it's not really Black people putting it together, packaging it up, sending it in mass distribution. So you're getting what you see, you're getting it told, you know what I'm saying? Stories are told by people that ain't necessarily us, by, African Americans. So a lot of times you just have people are giving this exaggerated, a lot of times inaccurate, for the sensation of storytelling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes the how can I say, how we've been perceived outside of America, a lot of times isn't really up to our control. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't own a Viacom. Yeah. You feel what I'm trying to say? So that's all over the world.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I think most of people's accounts, and I just don't want to single Ethiopia out, I don't think that's fair, but most people's accounts from outside of America when it comes to Black people is like kind of like this exaggerated, just super loud, just kind of version of what I think you know, African Americans.
And this brings me to your music, because I feel like with you having to stand on two different platforms, you have that African connection, and then you have that American connection, so it truly makes you African American. Your music is definitely entertaining, and also it's a music of activism. You talk a lot about culture and how, what you just said, it's not in your control, but you control your music. So tell me a little bit about what inspires your music, even in terms of imagery. The videos that you put out have their own subliminal messages. So tell me about that.
Well, initially, like, my first inspiration is Bob Marley, like 100%. You know what I'm saying? And till this day, like, a lot of what I do is inspired by Bob Marley. So, and that's like when my parents, that was like one of the few things my parents was letting me watch and indulge in reggae music, like positivity kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So early on, like, that's what I, you know what I'm saying, that's what I came up on. So that's, and just reggae music in general, you know, African music, like, I got to, by the time I started listening to rap or even heard rap, it was very late. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like 8 or 9 before I even knew what rap music was. And that's just because, you know, the general subject matter of rap music, especially like for my mom, that's from an older generation of like the civil rights generation, and then like for my dad, who's not even from here, what they know of as rap music is not nothing that they wanted their kids to do, especially with, you know what I'm saying, how they were thinking and how they intended to raise us. So by the time I got to rap, I already had, I was already like listening to a lot of reggae music and a lot of African music. So,
anyone listening to you would see that Bob Marley and reggae influence
easily
in your music.
Easily.
But you've also managed to project and articulate your culture of being Ethiopian and your African American culture. Tell me, is there a moment where you felt like, oh my God, I'm not showcasing enough of what my mom is because I'm so focused on and you know, influenced by Rastafarianism that I'm not, you know, projecting her culture?
Nah, I never feel like that because even though, you know what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, and the culture in Ethiopia and every, you know what I'm saying, that's what people are getting from me when they hear me talk, but people have to take in consideration how I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? You don't, I'm, you know, at the end of the day, I'm a rapper. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not going to say my mom is the reason why I'm a rapper, because that's not the case, but what I'm saying is the African American culture, that, you know what I'm saying, our culture on that side of things is what helps me project out and how I communicate and say the Ethiopian or African or the cultural things that I'm saying. It's that how do I say it? Like, I'm presenting it in that way. If you understand what I'm saying. So, and it's not necessarily like I'm trying to be this or I'm trying to be that. It's more so like what I'm like. Both sides can understand what I'm saying to a certain extent, and the way it is, it's like
I think
I'm trying to articulate it as well as
I
I can
get
for
it.
you.
I think your music, for me, it's not confined to just, even though you show a lot of where you're from in terms of your father and then your mother being you know, African American, it also touches so many people, and it's not just blacks. It transcends. It truly does. And it sends a message of empowerment. So in an era where people are just trying to be popular, seeking fame, how do you balance it with sending, you know, like positive message, encouraging message that says they can't tell you what to do with who you are because you should be powerful enough to understand what you are. You in the entertainment, you know, platform and arena, selling a positive message. How do you sell that without having to lose who you are?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I truthfully don't know. I'm just up to this point, and you know what I'm saying, I plan on doing forever. I'm just gonna keep doing what I feel, you know what I'm saying, what I feel works for me, what I feel is right. So a lot of times, I think right now I've gotten to a place where people are expecting to hear what they've heard from me already, as far as not necessarily how I'm doing it, but like message-wise, content-wise. So it's something that I've already been comfortable with, and it's nothing that it was nothing that I tried too hard to, because like I said, like I was raised like that. Like even though it's not even traditional, but my dad had like a lot of Rastafarian beliefs, even though he was, you know, born in Ethiopia and everything. Like, you know, he had his dreadlocks and everything. So it's like the way I was, it was such a no-brainer for me. I think now that I'm starting to do interviews and people are asking me, and, you know, my music has been a little bit more popular. I'm starting to get questions. I'm starting to answer questions. I'm not really. It's hard to answer because it's just like how I've been living. Yeah,
it's natural for you. Yeah, exactly. So. But with that said, when you know, when you're performing or when you hear a beat and you're writing, what are some of the thoughts that come into you that say, you know what, this is what I want my audience to get? What messages do you want to convey to your
well, as of recently, one of the most important things for me is when I'm writing, I always think about how my family's going to perceive it. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily trying to write things and only writing things that my family is going to like, because they're not going to like everything that I'm going to write. You know what I'm saying? But I can only do things that I know I can justify myself. So they might, you know what I'm saying, somebody here might not feel so keen to it, but if I can explain and give, you know what I'm saying, adequate argument for it, then I'm fine with it. So and the reason why that is because like outside of me, my family's gonna be representing me. So you know, the more and more I get, you know what I'm saying, the more and more I start moving up and people start knowing my name a little more, people are gonna be asking, oh, you're Ross Nebiyu's cousin, so was the, you know what I'm saying? So like I want to make sure I'm still being me. Everybody knows who I am. I'm not doing nothing crazy. I'm still being me, but I want the people that I've raised, the community that I came up in, the people that have raised me to be able to
be proud of what you're doing and what you're saying.
Exactly. So.
And I want to take you back to when I say your music is almost like activism. And that's what Bob Marley was. If you listen to any of his songs,
of course,
you get an understanding of some kind of, you should be revolutionized. You get what I'm saying? Not in a negative way, but you should always stand up for yourself and fight for your rights, etc. You have, even from your titles down to the nitty-gritty of the lyrics, your musics are in line with, you know, what Bob Marley was in that generation. So when you, like, you know, let's talk about Capital of the Hate, to Futuristic Man, and Lion Talk. When you come up with these titles and lyrics and things like that, what is it that you are fighting for? Because it seems like you're pushing for something. But what is that something?
Really, I'm pushing for, you know what I'm saying, a higher value of self-worth and self-love, like, to the people I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want people to get it twisted. Like, my music ain't like, you know what I'm saying, pick up sticks and start running up in the government. Like, nah, it's not that at all. Like, I'm talking to the people that I'm talking to people that I feel like are like me and how they, you know what I'm saying, they feel like me. As far as how I feel about, you know what I'm saying, how we live day to day, how we interact with each other, how we perceive ourselves, not even just as black people, but just the, you know what I'm saying, just the lack of self-love that people have. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking to. And along the process of when people catch it and they can relate to it, then, you know what I'm saying, they can join in on that with us. But like, it ain't. You know, I don't want people to really think it's like.
No, I understand. You're not inciting violence. That is clear in your music that you're not.
Or even any kind of force of action. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even telling people to go outside and protest.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because I'm not myself a protesting type. So what I'm like, I'm not telling people how they live their life. I'm just letting them know how I live mine. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's more so like an internal thing, like a self-worth. You know, when you value yourself at a certain point, like, and that means that's everything. That's big. I mean, I'm talking about like real self-love is like you watching your diet because you love your body. You feel what I'm trying to say? That's what I mean by self-love.
And those are some of the things that you talk about. You know, people from having poor diets to, you know, just being pushed out of a home that they grew out of, you know? Those are some of the things that you take issues with. So living in Washington, D.C., being, you know, born and raised here, how do you feel about what is happening?
I mean, you know, things are, you know, things changed. Things have changed. Some for the worse, some for the better. You know, of course, like every, you know what I'm saying, city in America, you know, DC has been experiencing gentrification for a long time. So that's like changing the social dynamics, like especially for like young black people. So like the city that I was growing up in, like when I was in middle school, is different from like my little cousins when they go into middle school now, or even the guys before me that was going to, like, it's like the city has dramatically changed. So like I just been like, my music has also been kind of documenting that change over the years, like, you know what I'm saying, in DC that I grew up into where we at now. And also Washington DC, you know, it has the highest population of Ethiopian and Eritreans outside of, you know what I'm saying, the continent. So it's,
how is that helping you stay connected to Ethiopia?
100%. I ain't going to Ethiopia right now and make a lot of moves just because, you know what I'm saying, I know enough people here that do enough over there. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm very excited to go back. Try to get it in.
You've been to Ethiopia when you were younger.
Yeah,
but what is your, you know, imagination of Ethiopia?
What's my imagination of Ethiopia? Just family. Just Shorobukibe. That's what I really remember. Like, what else? Just you know, just I don't know, just freedom. Like just walking around. Like I don't know. It's been so long. I can't even tell you what I'm looking for when I go out there. Like,
you know, you just recently went to Abidjan.
Yeah,
Cote d'Ivoire, right? What was that experience like for you? That's the total opposite coast.
Yeah.
Different culture.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, well, it was like I remembered a lot of things, like things I remember seeing in Gambia and Senegal. So it was like, I don't know, it was just a very surreal experience. It was nice. It was beautiful. It's just, you know, it's just something about waking up in the morning in Africa. It just so.
What was the air like for you?
It was fresh. It was just, everything, it was just better. I don't know if it was my mind playing tricks on me, like I was happy to be in Africa, so I was taking in everything, like, But I just had a great time. Like, I went out there, I opened up for Wizkid from Nigeria at this huge show.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, crazy.
That's like almost an ocean of people. How'd you feel having that big of a platform?
It was surreal. See, I went up there, the only English act, there's probably like 8,000 people out there. I can't see anything because the lights facing the stage so bright, so I can't see anything. You know, that's the hugest crowd I've ever performed for, and just being able to like kind of do it in 2 minutes, and I got a nice little reaction from the crowd. So I had fun. Like it was,
that's awesome.
It was crazy.
And Ethiopia.
Yeah.
It's all over your music.
Yeah.
What would a concert look like for you in Ethiopia? What would, you know, your dream concert in Ethiopia look like?
It would just happen. You know, it would just happen. All right. I'm a little disappointed that I performed at Ivory Coast first before I did Ethiopia.
No, don't be disappointed.
I am a little bit.
No, don't be. You know why? Because that just prepares you for the crowd in Ethiopia.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nah, of course.
And then Ethiopia is going to be like even 4 or 5 times.
I hope it's grandiose. I also I hope it's a lot. I don't know, like it's hard to say. You know what I'm saying?
Has anybody asked you what your Ethiopia is? If you were to articulate what your Ethiopia is,
I can't answer that because
why not?
Because last time I was there, I was a child. So
but in
what you mean? I can tell you
now.
I can tell you what Uptown Ethiopia is. from
tell me
9th Street to Silver Spring and all that. I can tell you what that is. Not
Ethiopia
geographically, but just the culture. You know.
I know. Tell me, what is the Ethiopian culture here in Washington D.C. up and down Georgia Avenue?
Let's say you don't speak no English. All you speak is Amarinya. You can go anywhere. English, Spanish, Amarinya. Like the community here, like we so deep. That you don't like.
አንተ ግን አማርኛ ታወራለህ?
ትንሽ
ትንሽ?
ትንሽ በደምብ ሰማለሁ ግን መናገር is no good.
እየለመድክ ነው?
እየለመድኩ ነው። ግን like when I go back, spend some more time, then I'm gonna be good.
100% and come back?
100%, yeah, like 90, 95.
95, not 100%.
95%. Because I have an accent, a 5%,
No,
a
it's
5% uptown accent. I don't think I'm gonna be able to shake.
No, it's okay because I have a 5%.
For real?
Yes, I don't
okay.
speak proper Amharic. I English translate my sentences, so it's okay.
So you think in English and then you
yes,
translate?
and then I say it in Amharic, which does not make sense. Okay. So it's okay.
All right, cool.
They'll get it though. Don't worry about it. Right. Yes. You know, in your music, you have a lot of following, both on all the social media platforms. And the one thing that you did say is that you want to make sure that you write something that not only you could say, yes, I own up to it, but your family can be proud of. And articulating culture, you know, self-worth, and things like that. And recently, you're releasing a new track called Natural, which I love. Hey. So tell me, when you know, your love for women is beautiful. What about women makes you be the man that you are and praise them the way you do in a society that kind of just wants to use women as a punching bag?
Well, I mean, I was raised by mostly women. Like, I have 2 younger sisters. You know, my dear mother, you know, my grandmother, both of my grandmothers. So, like, you know, and they, like, I don't know if it's me or it's society, but like the way, and I'm gonna speak to specifically like just women of color. Like the way women are, like, it's such a raw deal. You know what I'm saying? It's such a raw deal that it's like, come on, like we got to do better. You feel what I'm trying to say? Like we have to do better. And like I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I'm super good guy. It's more so like how you present yourself, and you know what I'm saying, how you come is how you're gonna be treated, and that's gonna stand where it is. But as far as like my music and what things that are speaking for me when I can't be there in a situation, I always try and make sure that in no way, shape, or form am I disrespecting women, especially women of color. And that's not to put anybody else to the side, but it's just priority. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I don't care. So you don't hear bitches and hoes in my music at all. And addressing any women. So, and that's just because, like I said, like when I'm writing, I want my people to be able to listen, you know, be able to justify everything that I'm saying. So like when my younger sisters, you know, if I'm blowing up somewhere and I got a record, this, that, and I'm blowing up somewhere, and my younger sisters have to explain who their brother is, like I don't want them to have to ever do that.
Absolutely, and I think that's what I love about your music. Lyrically and visually, you back what you're saying. And all of your videos, the women are, you know, tribally dressed, or you know, they just playing a part, and I really love that. And the one thing that I could tell you, what's happening on the continent of Africa is they're starting to emulate what's happening here because that's what they get fed, and it does really impact them there because just like you see, you know, young black girls here dressing like the girls in the videos. They're starting to do that back home. What do you want to say to those little girls?
Stop. Stop.
Yes. I wanted to come from...
The reason why I say that, all right, going back to...
yes, I wanted to come from you.
The stuff that a lot of times that people are saying about our culture everywhere else is not given to us. But I mean, we have parts in it, but as far as an executive, like we, yes and no, final yeses and nos, that's not us. So... You're imitating miscued perception. So then you come over here, and then you start doing what you thought you saw, and then it's just like,
you're lost.
What you doing? Yeah, because then we're looking at you like, dang, like fresh off the boat. And that's where that term comes from. For real, pretty much. Like at least like style-wise and things like that, or what you think is cool, like, nah.
No, so, and the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you is because you're an artist. You're someone that's saying something and then depicting it in a video, and then the general audience buys that, right? So they're really being impacted by that, and there's nobody owning up to it. There's nobody that's being asked, like, why do you do these things? Because it's really hurting the society. And like you said, mostly women of color, because even when we see them out, we don't say, hey, you know, like, you shouldn't be looking like that, because we get told it's none of your business. But when it comes from the artist itself, it has weight, because you're validating that you shouldn't be doing what I'm just doing for entertainment type of thing.
See, well, like, at least in my music, like, even with the whole women thing, like, I'm not I don't really be trying to like preach. I'm not telling them like do this, sister girl. Like nah, it's not that. But I'm like when you hear me talk and addressing any women, you're gonna hear me address them with just this automatic, like it's an automatic
respect. What is a
respect.
beautiful woman for you?
I mean,
if you could,
broad.
like, broadly, if you could put a picture together. Because in natural, you talk about, you know, a woman not being so artificial and things like that. Yeah,
well, I mean, and natural specifically was just more so a reference to, like, you know what I'm saying, the kind of food she ate, the kind of food she eats and how it affects her body.
Yeah, so why is that important for you to tell that to the, because you're specifically singing and rapping that for a woman. And there's going to be lots of women listening to that.
I will say, I will say parts of it. Okay. I will say parts of it. Okay. It isn't entirely, but parts of it definitely. I mean, hold on, say it again.
You are talking about when the woman eats, right?
Okay.
Why are you talking about that?
Why am I talking? I can't explain why, because it just came out. Okay. You feel what I'm trying to say? Like, I didn't was like, man, one day I'm gonna write a song, I'm gonna talk about what she eat. Yeah. It wasn't like that at all. It just, I don't know, it just happened. But what I can say after the fact that happened, it's just like, you know, what you put in your body really matters. You know what I'm saying? It's, I mean, for both men and women, but especially women. Yeah. You feel what I'm trying to say? Especially, like, you know, because I guess just in general society, like, you know, appearance and how you uphold yourself, and you know how that's more so the standards for the women are just a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, natural, you know.
It's okay.
That part of the song is just like, I'm just complimenting.
I'm with it because I'm already a vegetarian, so I'm with you preaching that kind of, you know,
so you know, you just trying to squeeze it out of me. Yes,
I'm trying to squeeze it out of you.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, you know, pretty much like what you put in your body, you know, it's gonna come out.
Definitely.
You know, you eat a lot of bad stuff, then you're gonna have bad breath. You know what I'm saying? You eat like good
so
stuff,
crazy.
you're gonna have good breath. For real though. You eat dead food, you're gonna have dead breath.